Welcome to Austin, Texas to kick off Week 8. And this is a matchup between the USC Trojans and the Texas Longhorns that will determine that final playoff berth in the Big Ten. I'm David Roy, and in the booth with me tonight is the commissioner of the CFSL, Mike Peters. And Mike, This is a really big game for both teams, both of them on the edge of elimination.
Well, I'd like to say it's a hot one in Texas tonight. Not only on the field because of the temperature, 91 degrees here at kickoff, but it's also going to be a hotly contested game as both of these teams need a win to get into the playoffs, and we should see a great one.
Decent return here by Scooby Lewis, and therefore our first look at this Texas offense led by Clayton Denny, and he played really well in the win last week, but then again, so did Texas as a whole.
Well, you know, he's a freshman quarterback. He's been a little inconsistent. They're going to definitely need him to play big tonight.
He's going to start with a 3-yard run to open things up on the series. Empty backfield again on second down. 4 receivers top the screen. Denny with pressure in his face, and he threads that one over the middle for Conley, but it falls incomplete.
Well, as Marcellus Burney in on the coverage, he's got a pick and 4 pass breakups this season. That's not going to count as a pass breakup, but it probably should.
3rd and 7, play fake. Denny checks it down for Taraj Walker, and Digby Krause there to push him backwards.
Digby Krause playing down in the flat there, wanted to see none of that. He's going to shut down Taraj Walker there. And Texas starting out in a hole early on, not able to get anything going on offense, and they're going to give an opportunity here for USC to jump out in front first.
Punt is away, and USC going to have decent field position with this one as Mason Winters not quite able to get back to midfield, but like the real story for Texas, you'll see Winters there. They only put up 13 points last week.
Well, the really story is Mason Winters should have cut out to the left, and that's probably our second punt return touchdown since season 1.
It's still said here, Kingston Fox going to feed Kane Robinson, who finds a crease on that counter run to get 8 yards.
Well, USC could really use Kane Robinson. He's only got 312 yards rushing on the season. Went over 1,000 last season, was in Player of the Year talks. Only 300 yards. Disappointing season for him, but they could really use him to step up tonight.
Fox on the read option. Keeper finds a crease to the open field. Kingston Fox, nobody can catch him. Touchdown, USC.
Well, I don't know if he was dancing or if he got a rock in his shoe or what, but it looked like he was about to get caught there. A little bit too much jumping around, but a great run overall. He breaks that first tackle from Howard Cook and is able to accelerate and run away from everybody despite a little bit of extracurricular activities on his way into the end zone.
A 2-play drive for the Longhorns, or for the Trojans, excuse me, and it covered 51 yards. And of those 51, 43 of them came from that man, Kingston Fox, on that last run. And so, Mike, Texas now on the back foot early on, going to have to play catch-up here.
Well, not a good start for their offense or their defense, and so they're playing from behind here at home. What does everybody think? Should we get a Bubba's Karaoke and Cruise video implanted at some point during a game?
That would be some little extra entertainment on the side. As Denny looking for a shot down the middle, but overthrows his receiver, and he's 1 for 3 to start.
Well, Denny had a little bit of the Griffin-Yelkich disease there as he overthrew his receiver by about 5 yards.
Denny from the gun. Pressure. Coming off the edge, and Clayton Denny with nobody open just throws that one away. 3rd and 10.
Well, Texas is really going to have to make sure they get into the head of their quarterback and make sure it doesn't turn into a game that Griffin-Yelkich had last week against LSU. Statistically didn't look terrible, but just couldn't finish drives, and Texas in danger of that here early on.
A short throw there for Lord Helix, but he'll only get half the distance in, and another 3 and out for Texas.
Not the way they wanted to start for sure, and if USC is able to drive down the field quickly, then this could really be bad for Texas. Although, you know, you remember back to the Rose Bowl in 2005, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, college football games we've ever seen. I will say, though, there is no number 11 at quarterback. I believe that was his number. Is that right? Was it number 11?
For Texas?
Yeah.
No, it was 10. Vince Young.
Oh, yeah, 10. I knew it was 2 digits, started with a 1. I was close. I had 1 in 10 chance of getting it right.
There you go. Quick throw to Sawyer Stern in the flat, and that pass complete for Kingston Fox's first throw of the night.
Well, so they got about the same amount of yards from Kane Robinson on first down, and then Kingston Fox broke one off for a touchdown. Will they repeat the feat here?
In the pistol. Bubble screen to the right side and nearly intercepted by Harvey Bickle.
I don't know what has gotten into the Texas defense this year, but only 4 interceptions from their starter, 5 interceptions, if you include Howard Cook, from their star level players. Just not what you typically see from them.
3rd and 3, handoff Robinson. He's got the first down and more, bouncing off another tackle and down to the 25, where Bickle will drag him down after a 23-yard run.
Well, it was kind of similar to the first drive. This time it's Kane Robinson slipping tackles and moving his way down the field. Bickle, who dropped that interception, was able to make the tackle, but USC looking good. Texas got some work to do.
From the 26-yard line, and Sawyer Stern, the tight end in motion, as Fox with a 3-man rush and a quick throw out to the flats on the left side to get 2.
Well, if you're going to throw to Mason Winters, you want to throw it to him a little bit more than 2 yards downfield. He's your most explosive option on offense, and lead him out of bounds there is not ideal.
Fox on the draw play for Kane Robinson, shakes one tackle, fights through a couple more, and that will give him the first down.
Well, where has this Kane Robinson been all season? I mean, he has been a shell of his season 6 self all season, but he's coming out playing as good as we've seen him all year.
Yeah, you talk about that. Kane Robinson snuck into the Offensive Player of the Year conversation late last season, and before the season started, we thought he was going to be a favorite to end up back there again, and that's just not been the case. As Robinson fighting through tackles to get 10 and set up 1st and goal.
Well, one thing we know is clear. USC definitely ate their Wheaties before this game.
I think Texas is looking for a bite to eat. Handoff, Robinson, touchdown USC.
2 really good drives here for the Trojans as they march down the field almost at will. Now, they did almost throw an interception, but close only counts on horseshoes and hand grenades. And right now, USC is up 13-0.
And so how much does that play in, or how much pressure does that put on Texas when you know this is an elimination game and your first 2 drives offensively are 3-and-outs and punts, and USC's first 2 drives are touchdowns?
I think it puts a ton of pressure on you. You add to it that you're playing at home. You know, your home fans want to get a win and want to see you make the playoffs. They don't want to see you get blown out in a new conference, a conference that everybody thought you were going to win because you won the SEC the last 2 seasons. And they thought going into the Big Ten, at worst, you finish 2nd to USC, and now you lose, you're not even going to make the playoffs, and then to lose at home. I think there's a ton of pressure on Texas right now.
At this point, any hopes that Texas have of winning the Big Ten just don't even matter at this point, because you're at risk of being eliminated barely halfway through the first quarter, and that pass is incomplete.
Well, that receiver is in danger of getting cut after he drops. I think that was Carson Meeks, actually. I thought it was 88, but I think it was 86. Carson Meeks, not what you need to see.
2nd down and 10 is Tenney, 2 of 6 so far, fires a dart over the middle, and the first down of the night goes to Lord Helix for 17.
Well, when you need something big to happen, you ask the Lord to be your savior, and he comes through for you there.
I didn't know that Texas was a school of faith.
Well, they have a Lord on their team, David. Come on. Play along with me.
1st and 10 from the 43. Pistol full house. Play fake. Denny looking with time. Floats that one to the comeback route on the left side, and Helix again, this time for 18 yards.
Now, Helix is one of 3 senior receivers on this group. Scooby Lewis, Ray Conley, the other 2. Helix transferred over from Washington, having his best season so far, and he's the only guy so far that looks like they're on top of their game in this one. Hopefully, he sparks a little something in the rest of this Texas team.
Texas down inside the USC 40. Denny to throw. Wheel route to the left side for Taraj Walker, and he'll get 4 yards, but took a hard hit there from Benjamin Kay.
Well, Taraj Walker, he's kind of been on the outs with the team all season, so they just give him, he's kind of like the guinea pig. They just throw him out there and let him absorb the hard hits. They figure, you know, he's probably leaving after the season anyway.
down to the 36-yard line, and Clayton Denny with an empty backfield here trips top the screen. Denny, pressure, takes a shot to the right sideline. That pass caught. Touchdown, Ray Conley.
Well, if you have no faith, have it now. Although it wasn't Lord Helix coming through, it was Ray Conley who moves one touchdown closer to tying Jared Titonis for the all-time touchdown lead in CFSL history by wide receivers.
Well, Mike, not only that, you talk about the faith aspect, and prayers have been answered for Texas because that is a touchdown they desperately needed.
They did. They needed a good drive. They needed to get off the mat, so to speak, and they did with an excellent drive there. It was sparked by Lord Helix, and then Conley, as he's been doing for all 3 of his seasons in Texas. Of course, he started his career at TCU, but the last 3 seasons at Texas, he's been remarkable, and he gets them on the board.
As you say, Texas finally coming up off the mat offensively. Will their defense be able to do the same? As Marcellus Burney going to help his offense out here, getting them decent field position across the 30, and Kingston Fox and company will take the field.
Well, Texas okay here. If they get a stop, they can get another touchdown, and it's a tie ball game. So that drive was huge for him.
Halfback screen right side, Kane Robinson with some blocking and some room down the right sideline and across midfield. A 20-yard pickup for the Trojans.
Well, either Kane Robinson has had coronavirus all season and he's finally getting over it, or they need to test him for performance-enhancing drugs, because this is a version of him that we haven't seen at all this season.
Been very different for him, and as pointed out, and we've talked about it, was in the Offensive Player of the Year conversation last season, and not the case this season, though he's putting on quite the performance tonight as they go back to him on the counter run, and he comes back inside for another 12 yards.
Well, I want him to get up and do the Ezekiel Elliott feed me thing, because right now that's what they're doing, and he's eating up every bit of it.
Pistol set as the Trojans down to the Texas 36. They go back to Robinson. They continue to feed him, and it pays off as he's able to get 4 yards despite being stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Well, he did pick up 4, which isn't bad, but the whack train comes through there to slow him down. Howard Cook, he's going to need to have a big night, judging by what we're seeing from Robinson.
Bubble screen left side. Mason Winters gets across the 30, and it's a gain of 3, but not much else.
Zachary White does a good job of chasing that one down. Mason Winters only got 5 yards on 2 catches, not what they really need to see from him, but so far it's working out for him.
From the gun and inside the 30, Fox setting up halfback screen to the short side of the field. There's Robinson with blocking and a first down inside the 20.
Well, there was an offensive lineman wearing the number 62 who just picked up Terrence Topp and buried him into the turf and says, "You want to come into my house? Welcome."
Fox to throw. Goes short for Tim Cope. Gets down inside the 10. It's a gain of 9.
USC just clicking on all cylinders. They're keeping it going. Now they go to Cope. They've gone a couple of short passes over there to Winters. They've got Kane Robinson going. Fox has broken off a big one. Looking good right now.
From the 9-yard line on 2nd and a yard. Handoff. And Kane Robinson going to work his way down inside the 5.
Well, this is where they need Howard Cook and Zachary White and some of these other guys to really step up. They need to stop here. They'd really love to hold them to a field goal. It's going to take those guys to do it.
And off again, Kane Robinson into the end zone for 6.
Well, Cook stuck his nose in there, but over-pursued it a little bit, and Robinson was patient enough, kind of like Top Gun. He hit the brakes, let him fly right by. Robinson into the end zone for a 2nd touchdown of the night, and USC still rolling.
An 8-play drive for the Trojans, and not only that, but Mike, tonight, Kane Robinson has been putting on quite the performance. 8 carries, 90 yards, and then back-to-back rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You wonder what got into him. Is he auditioning for the transfer portal as well?
Texas, on the other hand, got some work to do, because at this point, Mike, their defense isn't helping them. They have to just hope that they can keep up with USC's offense at this point.
Well, this air raid offense is going to have to start clicking, and they did on the last drive. They're going to need Lord Helix, Ray Conley, and Scooby Lewis to really be effective. They're going to need Clayton Denny to be really effective, because it looks like this is probably going to be a shootout.
Quick throw there for Lewis, and he will get 6 yards over the middle.
Now, Lewis is more of their underneath possession receiver, led all of their non-halfbacks with 55 catches. but less than 10 yards a catch, and he's going to get a lot of catches like that.
Raj Walker motioned out of the backfield to the left. Denny with a three-man rush. Standing in, floats out over the middle, and he delivers for the tight end Carson Meeks, who fights his way across midfield for a gain of 21.
Well, Meeks makes up for that drop a little bit. It was actually a really good play there because he saw you had the blocker underneath in Scooby Lewis. And so now well-designed, well-executed play for the 20-yard gain.
Down to the USC 48, and out comes Clayton Denny in a pistol set here. It's Denny motioning Raj Walker out of the backfield to the right. Quick throw over the middle, and that pass caught by Helix. It's a gain of 15.
It looks like Texas was finally heated up as you see Helix working on Bernie, gets the release. Then he does a good job of finding him there, and Peyton Miles comes in to help make the tackle. But Texas is starting to heat up. Now they just need their defense to be able to make a stop or two, and they got a chance. But if their defense doesn't help them out, none of this offense is really going to matter.
The gun inside a minute to play here in the first. Denny goes short and into traffic, but still connects with Scooby Lewis.
Well, that's when you know you're feeling good. When you drop back and you got a defender draped all over your receiving, you still fire a dart in there to pick up 7.
Empty backfield on second down. Denny looking to throw, three-man rush. Denny with time, pressure close in, and he'll connect with Carson Meeks getting down inside the 15.
Well, this is one of the things that we've seen from Denny that not all of the freshman quarterbacks are able to do as well. He stands in the pocket. He doesn't throw it away. He doesn't take the sack. He waits to the last minute, delivers a bullet, and gets the first down.
All spotted at the 13-yard line. Pistol look here. Walker, the halfback in motion. Denny to throw. Middle of the field, and Lewis gets it down to the 5 where he's wrestled down.
USC's not giving him a whole lot of room over the middle, but Denny's just being really efficient, really precise with his passes. And honestly, I don't know what more USC can do.
And that is how we end the first quarter. USC up 21-7, but Texas on the verge of closing that gap. You're watching the Cfsl on PX1 Sports. Start of the second quarter, and Texas knocking on the door. They're down to the 5. Denny throwing, end zone. That pass caught by Conley.
Conley's second touchdown. And guess what? Ray Conley has now tied Jared Satonis with 40 career receiving touchdowns, tied for the most ever receiving touchdowns in league history. He needs one more to become the sole owner of that record.
It's got to feel good for Conley and this Texas team, because to recap this is only the second meeting in this series between these two teams. They first met in the semifinal round last season, and USC eliminated Texas from the playoffs en route to a national championship game appearance.
Well, and that's true, and Texas felt like they had an opportunity to get to that championship game. They want a little bit of revenge. They didn't start off so well, but their offense is playing really well right now. Now they need their defense to pick up a little bit of that energy.
You look at the two offenses there, and despite that rough start, they have balanced out a little bit. Empty backfield here for Kingston Fox. Looking, pressure in his face, but he will connect with Mason Winters to the right for a first down.
I'm not sure why they're using Winters on such short routes. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they're hoping to draw this defense in so they can hit him over the top with a big play. I think they have a lot of guys that can act as a possession receiver underneath, or maybe they're going to use him as a decoy and they're going to try to hit Tim Cope deep. It's interesting the way they're using him right now.
Fox to throw here. Blitz coming, but he's going to go underneath for Sawyer Stern. A little drag route there, and he'll break a tackle and work his way all the way down to the 31.
Well, it was another good route concept as they ran him on the drag underneath, and then they had another receiver out in front who got the lead block, and then he shakes off a tackle. Well-designed, well-executed play there for USC.
Kane Robinson, the one that you're talking about there, who came out of the backfield to pick up the block downfield and help spring Stern.
It is a team game, and when the team is clicking like that, it definitely helps.
Trips bunch to the right side here for Fox as he'll look to throw. Three-man rush. Fox dancing right, goes back left side, that pass incomplete.
That was just excellent coverage there by the Longhorns. So Fox smartly realizes that there's nothing there, doesn't want to force it, and just throws it away.
From the gun, once again, Kingston Fox looking to throw. Going to take off and run, right side, cuts upfield. And Fox with a little shake and bake's going to help him get down inside the 20.
Well, there was a defender out there, and I didn't see his number. I couldn't tell who it was, but it looked like he was trying to take away a possible pitch. But he played it too wide and gave too much room, and Fox took advantage of it.
Fox on the draw play for Kane. Robinson gets dragged down for a loss.
Walk on Andrew Scott getting in there as Robinson trying to get outside, but Scott just grabs and holds on for dear life and drags him down like a steer at the rodeo.
How fitting.
That's right.
Pistol set. Read option keeper, Kingston Fox. A little bit more room than what Robinson on the previous play, and it shows as he gets 9.
Yeah, Fox outside of that one big run for the touchdown hasn't taken the ball much, but we might see it a little bit more here near the 10-yard line.
From the pistol, Kingston Fox looking to throw. 3-man rush. Quick throw over the middle, and Stern gets it down to the 3.
Well, all you wanted, or all you needed really, was the first down. You get inside the 5, down to the 3, and you got 3, maybe 4 shots at it.
Goal line set, 3 tight ends. The handoff to Benjamin Kay, the fullback, and he runs it in.
Well, the linebacker likes the double as a fullback and a tight end, and they put him in there on the goal line set, and they give it to him. He takes it around the outside and gets his first, or actually second, touchdown, rushing touchdown of his career. Actually, second, I can't tell the way these stats are set. Second rushing touchdown. He's got 3 total. I believe that's what I'm looking at. We didn't clarify that on our sheet, by the way.
Speaking of things to work out, Texas has got to get their defense figured out. Meanwhile, their offense, Mike, they need to continue to click because the way this is going, that 2-score deficit that they started with is really hindering them at this point.
It is. I mean, the good news is as long as their offense keeps up, they're only 1 stop away from tying it up. But the danger is if your offense doesn't convert and get another touchdown, then you really put your defense behind the 8 ball.
Quick throw there for Helix, and he'll pick up 9 yards off the little pass.
Well, now the interesting thing is are they going to go to Ray Conley some more? He's already tied the record with the second receiving touchdown of the first half. Do they go for him, and does he get the record in this game?
It's an interesting point as Denny dancing, takes a shot over the middle of the field and into traffic. Peyton Miles nearly had that interception. Yeah,
that was definitely the worst pass that we've seen from Denny tonight. He throws it in the double coverage, and Miles just missed coming away from it.
Pistol set on 3rd and 1, and Taraj Walker's not going to be in the backfield for it. It's Denny. Quick throw right sideline. There's the tight end Meeks converting.
Well, and he rebounds nicely to fire a dart over there on the sideline. Only his guy can get it. He steps out of bounds. Denny mostly is playing pretty efficiently right now.
Set, Walker motion out of the backfield left side. Denny steps up, goes short to the right. There's Meeks, and he'll get across midfield, picking up 6 yards.
LSU's playing good coverage downfield, so they're not giving Denny much to work with, so he's having to check it down. He's doing a good job of finding the guys and finding his checkdowns, but USC doing a good job not letting anybody open deep.
You'll see with the blitz, Denny gets out of his hands quickly, and there's Meeks over the middle to snag it for 7 yards.
That was really good coverage there by Benjamin Kay. They brought an all-out blitz, man coverage behind it. Kay one-on-one with the tight end, and it's right behind him. They get the first down, but he doesn't let it break out and be a big gain like it could have been.
3-man rush this time. Denny floats out on the left side, and that pass could have been intercepted by Jonathan Green.
Well, Jonathan Green and the USC defense are playing like the Texas secondary right now and having a hard time bringing in these interceptions.
Empty backfield, Denny. 4-man rush this time, and that pass over the middle caught by Taraj Walker for a gain of 13.
Well, he's mixing it up really well right now. He goes over the middle. Maine Patterson and Peyton Miles get in there to make the tackle, but Denny, outside of a couple passes that could have been picked, is doing a good job of finding the open man and moving the chains.
The 29-yard line in USC territory. 4 wide, Out on the field, trip stop the screen, Denny. Throwing left sideline, and that pass jumping for it, but ultimately incomplete.
Well, he's playing with fire there. He threw that one over there, put a little bit too much air under it, but then it was tipped and almost picked off of the rebound.
Denny been living pretty dangerously on this drive alone, as here he is to throw. Quick pass with the blitz in his face, but he finds Scooby Lewis for a gain of 15.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing as he'll rebound with one of those passes that could be picked, and then he'll just fire a dart in the face of the blitz for a first down. So it's a little bit inconsistent. He's playing with fire, but it's working and proving effective right now, so it's hard to argue with it. Although, if I was the coach, I'd tell him, like, look, you're getting away with some things here. Got to be a little bit more precise, more consistently.
The pistol. Denny. The three-man rush goes short over the middle, and that pass is caught by Conley. He'll get 6 yards there.
He's had most of his success over the middle. That's the part that USC's having the toughest time guarding. You got to go outside a little bit to keep them honest, but living over the middle is working for him.
And the gun, 2 tight ends on the field. As Denny, with time, goes short to the right side, finds his walk-on tight end, Andre Jones, for half the distance needed. It's a gain of 2.
Well, they tried to go over the middle there, and USC just didn't give them a lot of space. They're starting to bunch it up in the middle, try to take that away. You've got good receivers. You got an opportunity one-on-one on the outside, but they're 5-star corners out there.
It's to Full House. The handoff. Taraj Walker is going to stretch and get that first down.
Now, Walker gets his first carry here midway through the second quarter, and it's only 2 yards, but it is a crucial first down. You got a few shots at it down here now inside the 5.
Going to go empty backfield as Denny dancing, tries to tuck it and run, but the USC pass rush does get home for a loss of 7.
So many teams overthink themselves here. Now, granted, this is an air raid offense. They don't have an I formation. You know, they've got a goal line, which we just saw, so this is kind of what they do, but you live so dangerously passing on first down from the 3, because now you got a second and goal from outside the 10, and it's just not quite the same scenario. You have it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get in, and you're really looking at probably a field goal.
It's a long drive for Texas, too. This is the 14th play of the current drive. It's Denny throwing middle, and that pass incomplete.
Well, they went over the middle again, and I couldn't tell if that was Xavier Holly or Marcellus Burney, but good coverage in the middle and to make contact and to knock that one free. And now if they don't convert here, they're settling for a field goal, and that's exactly what USC needed.
The backfield, Denny blitz off the edge, that pass short, and fighting to get in is Helix, but he didn't get there.
Well, the Lord must not have been living right there as he didn't get that call. They stopped him just short. I probably would have wanted a review, and I might go for it here, honestly.
Hunter Graham is called upon to deliver the chip shot, and he does put it through to make an 11-point game. But the problem, Mike, it's not necessarily the Texas offense, especially as of late. It's been their defense that's been hurting them at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it as much as if your defense have gotten a couple of stops, but they haven't. USC scored a touchdown every time they've had the ball. So I would have liked, you're not going to get inside the 1 very often. I would have liked to line it up, but again, with an air raid offense, you don't have a whole lot of options for that scenario, so I kind of understand why they kicked the field goal.
Kingston Fox, read option keeper, finding a crease right side, and that gets him down to 31.
You know, Giovanni Cavelli comes up with a nice hit there, and, you know, I was thinking as he lays that shoulder in the Fox, a fumble or any kind of turnover would be big for Texas, and the way it's going, it kind of looks like that's what they're going to need to get USC off the field.
Up to the 32-yard line, and Kingston Fox in the gun. Read option keeper again. Fox with another crease, this time up the seam and out to the 45.
So that was dangerous for a couple of reasons. As he's slipping that one and trying to lean his leverage the other way, Cavelli comes in from the other side and hits him. He holds onto it, but those are the kind of plays that pop the ball loose. So Fox has got to be a little bit more cognizant of that and at least cover up. I know he wants to break a big play, but he's living dangerously and risking a fumble.
And off here for Kane Robinson, bounces off and out to the outside. Robinson down the sideline, all the way inside the 25-yard line of Texas.
Right now, Texas really has no answer for this USC running game, specifically Kane Robinson, although Fox has been really good as well. They're up to almost 200 yards already here in the first half, and Texas really going to need to look at a way to slow them down, because right now they're having absolutely zero success with it.
Robinson, 11 carries in that last one, put him up over 100 yards rushing. Now he's also got 2 rushing touchdowns. As a bubble screen for Sawyer Stern, he's breaking tackles to get it down inside the 20.
Not tackling very well. That's definitely not helping Texas. The walk on Justin Taylor not able to make the tackle and allows a 5-yard pickup.
The backfield, Fox looks, throws left side. That pass caught by Seals, but they're going to say he's out at the 1.
What?
That makes it first and goal.
That's a touchdown. Wow.
The only thing I can think of is the only time, okay, they're going to review it, but his feet were not inside the end zone, but the ball, his foot was right on the line. Yeah, it should be a touchdown.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands.
So the only thing I can think of there is his right foot came down out of bounds, and that's what they're using to say that he didn't establish himself in the end zone, but the ball just needs to break the plane.
Midline read, and Kingston Fox gets stood up at the 1.
If USC is able to get the touchdown, it might actually work to their benefit because they get to eat a little bit more time off the clock. But Texas, they got an opportunity here to get a stop.
And read option, and Fox runs it in himself.
Well, their opportunity dissipated like their playoff hopes are doing quickly here. And USC now with the 3-score lead. Texas doesn't have a whole lot of time here, and they really need to end with a score here. They don't want to start the second half down by 3 scores.
I want to give a shout out to everybody joining us tonight for the opening night of Week 8. We've got Shane, Nighthawk, Scott S. Lindsay, Dorian Cope, Howard Cook, Ted Stern, Devin Davis, Voodoo Highlights, Georgia Fan, Neil Mason, Jacob Schneider, Mason Winters, and anybody else I might have missed. I do apologize. I see Flame in here as well. In Texas, Mike, this point, it's a very crucial drive for them.
It is. I mean, USC is going to start with the ball to start the second half, and you don't want to give them that with down 3 scores already, especially considering you haven't been able to stop them yet.
Well, that pass off the hands of Helix and nearly intercepted by Marcellus Burney on the deflection.
Well, again, Denny's living a little bit dangerously. He's getting away with it, but, you know, for the most part, he's played pretty well. Eventually, one of those is probably going to come back to bite him.
Denny dancing, throwing right side. That pass incomplete, and that brings us 3rd down. And the reminder popping up in live chat, do not forget to like the video or the stream.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't so you can get notified whenever we go live.
Still getting used to the fact that we have that option as opposed to what we had on Twitch.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but we're getting used to it. YouTube's been a little bit more reliable for us. Hopefully next season we can go back to a blend of the two. We might even work in another medium. We'll see. Might have to do some testing in the off season, but growing our footprint isn't a bad thing.
It is not, and the growing odds for USC that they'll make the playoffs as a 3 seed isn't too bad either.
Well, they're up by 18. They've got the ball back with 1:20 to go. They can add points, and then they start with the ball in the second half. Things are not looking well for Texas right now.
Another 3 and out for that Texas offense. Meanwhile, USC looking to continue the trend they've established, which is scoring touchdowns every time they touch the ball. And Fox, a shot into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Terrence Top with the pick.
Well, it seems like we've been waiting for Terrence Top to get an interception forever. He came into this season needing 1, the tie for the all-time lead. Unfortunately for him, Ollie P. Peters has taken that, so now he's 1 behind him. But the first interception of the season and 12th of his career for Terrence Top, giving Texas an opportunity here.
Danny taking over from his own 35, and Taraj Walker gets the carry and gets laid out by Peyton Miles.
Well, again, they're using their sacrificial lamb to draw the defense in, and now we'll see if they go over the top.
Make it sound like he's a sacrificial pawn in a game of chess. Denny, 4-man rush. Takes a shot to the right side. That pass could have been intercepted by Green. Very dangerous.
Well, much like Terrence Top, if he gets enough chances, eventually USC's defense is going to come down with one of these.
which is crazy because Jonathan Green earlier this season had a 3-interception game.
He did.
Denny here goes short left side, and the USC defense all over Taraj Walker. He only gets a yard, and Texas will punt again.
You gotta throw those past the marker. I don't understand what the benefit is there, especially, I mean, it's one thing if you have a guy like Joe Pantoja or somebody that you think can break a few tackles, but Taraj Walker's not likely to break a bunch of tackles there.
Texas's last 2 drives are the way they started this game, 3 and outs and punts. Meanwhile, USC, like for once tonight, they had a drive that did not end in a touchdown.
Well, stranger things have happened. I don't think they're going to not end with the score here. I feel like they're going to go for the dagger here.
They're going to go short to start, and Tim Cope makes a man miss. What a move to pick up 12.
Nice vision there by Cope to make a guy miss and get that first down.
Empty backfield as USC goes no huddle. They are out of timeouts for this half as Fox wanted to take a shot downfield, but it got hit, and the pass falls incomplete.
Just a little too much time there, and it allowed the Texas front 7 to get through, but Fox, he was looking for the dagger.
Fox to throw here, 3-man rush. Takes a shot on the seam, and a leaping effort by Seals, but just past his fingertips.
Yeah, just there, and we've seen Seals come down with big catches before. Wasn't able to haul that one in. And now we'll see if on 3rd and 10, Texas can force another switch of possession.
Halfback screen, Kane Robinson with the Texas defense in pursuit, and they will stop him right at midfield and force USC to punt.
Well, it was a good job because they bracketed him with 3 guys, and they pushed him out of bounds, which stops the clock, so they didn't have to use one of their 2 timeouts.
And they've got a little bit of time for Clayton Denny to try to work some magic and come up with points late here, as Scooby Lewis going to get it out to the 21, which is the amount of time that Texas will have left.
Well, they actually got 23, so they got 77 yards to go in 21 seconds.
Empty backfield. Denny goes short left side, stepping out of bounds to Scooby Lewis after he gets 2.
A field goal wouldn't be the worst thing here as it makes it a 15-point game, but I think you really want a touchdown. You just don't have a lot of time.
From the 25, 17 seconds and a half, Texas 2 timeouts remaining. Denny to throw with time. Throwing short, and a leaping effort by Peyton Miles to bat it away.
Well, that one was just a great deflection as Miles stretches out and Supermans his way in front of that ball to knock it down and force the 3rd down.
Still set, 13 seconds and a half and counting, and Taraj Walker trying to run this one, and he is not going to get anywhere close to the marker. Only picked up 4, but that will eat up the time for the half.
Well, they ran it there because they figured they weren't going to get the touchdown with the time left, so they're just going to punt it, but I mean, I get it. I don't necessarily like it, though.
So Texas won't even have to snap it to punt it, but not the way they anticipated starting out here tonight. Down 35-17 at half. And again, as a reminder, this is a game that decides who gets that last playoff spot in the Big Ten. Mike, as we head into the studio for the halftime, your thoughts on that opening half?
Well, Texas a little shell-shocked here. I don't know if they were looking at that Notre Dame game last week and thought this was going to be a little bit easier than it was, but USC definitely seems to be the more motivated team. And Texas, you know, they've kind of had a history of being a little too high on themselves. You know, they've won back-to-back Big Ten titles. They've had some stretches in their history where they haven't played really well, and it's not hard to imagine that they were maybe a little too confident going into this one, and they kind of got punched in the mouth early. Now the key will be if they can right things at the half and take it to USC in the second.
Keep in mind, too, Texas was the favorites coming in tonight, 5.5-point favorites. And you look at the 2 offenses, and USC on a tear, and offensively speaking, they've been fairly dominant, mainly because Texas's defense has been not that.
Well, they've been getting shredded with the run game. That's been the biggest part of it. And so we'll see here how the halftime adjustments work for them. If they can get a stop and force the punt, they're okay. But if they let USC drive down the field and score like they did most of that first half, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
It is only an 18-point lead for USC, so Texas does have hope. They've got a half to work with. Fox to open up, and the blitz comes off the corner, didn't get the sack, but it did force the incompletion.
Yeah, the walk-on Justin Taylor is the one that gets in there and forces it. Fox shrugs him off, but then gets hit, and that ball winds up going incomplete. So good start on the first play, at least, for the Texas defense.
Wide, Fox with a three-man rush here. As time goes short, there's Seals on the slant for the first down.
Well, a lot of time, they only rush 3, which I didn't necessarily love. You got to play really good defense behind that if you're not going to rush very many, and they gave just enough room there. Not a great throw, but a good catch by Seals.
Draw play, Kane Robinson with some room, but it closes quickly as Randall Meeks comes downhill.
Well, they're not giving them big plays, but they also haven't ran the ball really yet. We'll see how Texas's defense adjusts when they finally run the ball.
2nd and 4. And off to the right side, Kane Robinson trying to find the edge, but the Texas defense there to stop him. Meeks again.
I think this is where the Texas's lack of defensive line presence is really hurting them, because the walk-on defensive tackle went after the quarterback when it was clear he didn't have the ball, and that opened up the big run.
The backfield, Fox with a three-man rush again, has all day. Takes a shot to the right side, and there on the comeback route was Marcellus Burney.
Yeah, Burney gets used a little bit on offense, and he comes up with a nice catch there, runs a corner route, and they actually clear out the coverage for him. Texas kind of lost them out there with the post route coming the other way, and a good job of execution there by Fox.
All the way down to the Texas 26 now is this USC offense. Kingston Fox. Handoff on the draw play, and the Texas defense stuffs that one.
Well, they finally got one. It's their second tackle for loss, but those have been few and far between, and setting up on a 2nd and 12 is a good spot here. Now can you keep them from picking up more than a few yards?
The backfield. Fox. Three-man rush again. Fox dancing. Floats that one left side. Going up for it was Winters, and it comes down in the hands of Zachary White.
Well, Fountain says in chat that it's going to take nothing less than a pick 6. I don't believe it's pick 6. A pick in general could help. It's the second pick for this Texas defense. They got a long way to go in front of them, but the important thing was they kept UFC from scoring when they were deep in the Texas end.
Now they're still deep in their own end, even deeper, down inside their own 10. Ball spotted at about the 7. Denny goes short for Taraj Walker, and he'll fight through Maine Patterson to get across the 20-yard line for first down.
Just a little outside route. They start him outside, then he breaks inside like he's running a slant after they motion him into the flat. And a nice job there finding room under the defense.
Play fake Denny, quick throw over the middle, and a huge hit for the tight end Meeks, but he manages to hold on.
Well, apparently Taraj Walker's doing too well, so now they're using Carson Meeks as their sacrificial lamb.
Laid out. I believe it was Peyton Miles who decided to do the distribution, and another play fake and a quick throw by Clayton Denny. So he is really trying to get the ball out of his hands quick.
Well, that one, I think that he saw the blitz coming. He was trying to hit the check down. That one, I think, just slipped out of his hands.
Mr. Full House needing inches. Triple option. The pitch. Taraj Walker with open field down the right sideline, but pushed out of bounds at the 45.
That was dangerous, but you got to give it to him. I mean, Clayton Denny's a gambler. He waited to the last second to get that one off. It could have been disastrous, but he winds up getting the first down. I think that's just something Texas is going to have to live with.
First bomb of the screen. Denny steps up into the pocket, throws back left side and into double coverage.
Well, there are games where that's not going to work out for him, and we saw that early on this season when he had trouble with interceptions against Michigan, LSU, and Ohio State. This time he's getting away from it, but that's, I think, like I said, that's just what you're going to have to live with this guy.
Denny dancing in the pocket, finally finds Helix over the middle to get 4 yards. A little drag right there, but it's 3rd and 6.
Well, it sets up more of a manageable third down. 3rd and 6 is okay. The key, though, they have to throw the ball past the first down marker.
Texas 3 of 9 on third downs as that pass over the middle, and it will convert. Meeks gets it down to the 40.
Denny just kind of reminds me of DJ Moss, which we saw play out his career. Started at Ohio State, went to Clemson. You know, a guy that just stands in the pocket, lives dangerously, a little Brett Favre-esque. Will throw into coverage. Will take some chances. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. It's exciting, but it's got to be a little nerve-wracking for the Texas fans and coordinators.
Denny finds Taraj Walker there on the sideline, gets 2. And, now that you mention it, I do see the comparison there to Moss.
Well, he's doing USC's defense doing a good job of keeping everything in front of them. They're not giving any shots deep, which is really important right now, protecting this 18-point lead.
Blitz coming. Denny finds Scooby Lewis over the middle, and he gets laid out by Peyton Miles.
Yeah, Peyton Miles is on a mission. We've seen him come up with several big hits, and I think he's kind of taken it upon himself. He knows that Texas is beating him over the middle rather consistently. It's like, all right, if you're going to make these catches, I'm at least going to make you pay for them after you bring it in.
Spotted at the 31. Pistol set on 3rd and 2. Walker motion out of the backfield right. Denny goes short, and that pass incomplete for Carson Meeks.
Well, Miles in there again to hit him and pop that one loose. And so now it's going to set up the long 48-yard field goal.
Gunnar Graham and his right foot looking to try to close the gap, and it's off the right upright. He doinked it.
I mean, it's a long field goal, and there's a decent amount of wind, 10 to 15 mile an hour wind blowing here. So it's not the easiest thing to line up. You were in the middle of the field. It's a kick you probably should make, but he wasn't able to convert it, and kind of like the rest of this night for Texas, things just not going their way.
Texas showing blitz here on 1st down, trying to get the ball back into the hands of Denny as Fox just going to take off and run, and there is the infamous Kingston slide to get 6 yards.
Well, they ran the verticals play there, and so all the defense is back. Ideally is behind you. Nobody was open, but they were still in his zone coverage, which didn't give him as much room to run as he probably thought he was going to if it was man.
Handoff, Robinson up the middle, and a crease will get him 7.
Well, there's a pancake on the outside, which opened that crease. A lot on the run through there. 126 yards and 15 carries. A really nice game for Kane Robinson as he's got a season high.
From the 45-yard line, as Kane Robinson looks to continue to have his big night. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns already and would like a 3rd, as Kingston Fox is going to keep it on the read option and pick up the 1st down.
Yeah, and again, they're just getting beat, and I can't really say anything more than the lack of star power up front. They've got Howard Cook, and they've got 2 3-stars. That's all they've got in their front 6 in this 3-3-5 that they run. And I just don't think that's enough to be successful against a running team like this.
Jace Hawkins able to come up and get to the edge there to stop Robinson at the line of scrimmage, but those stops have been few and far between. The gun handoff, Robinson outside to the right again, spinning through 1, spins through 2, and then finally brought down after he gets a gain of 5.
Well, USC's just rolling right now. You see it takes 2, 3, 4 attempts every time to make tackles. Kane Robinson is really energized by this, and Texas not playing with the typical pizzazz that they're used to.
Fox, middle, Mason Winters, near a 1st down. He'll get 5, but it's not quite enough.
You almost feel like USC planned going into this to start spinning off of these tackles. That maybe they noticed something with the angles, and they're spinning off a lot of them and getting extra yards after the first contact.
A long, almost a 48-yard field goal, but that one is no good off of Petey Lemieux's foot.
Well, no surprise there. When we saw Gunnar Graham miss the 48, this one from 49. They're not the easiest field goals. Again, a little bit of wind here, 10 to 15 miles an hour. It's also warm. It was 91 degrees. Not the easiest kicking environment. And so you're going to have to score by putting the ball through the air if you're Texas, and we'll see if they can do it.
Well, they don't start that way. They'll go to Taraj Walker. It's only his 5th carry of the night, but he gets 10. The gun here, Denny. Midline read, finds a crease of his own, gets out to midfield, and Mike, where has this rushing game been for Texas tonight?
Well, I think it's a little bit late to start going to it. Denny keeps it there on the option. I guess you're down 18 and you're throwing in some new wrinkles, but might be a little late to start trying that.
Play action, quick throw for Scooby Lewis, spins off of Peyton Miles, and then Jonathan Green will bring him down. It's a gain of 8, and by no means is Texas out of this.
They're not, and it looks like Horns doing what he does best, saying, hey, this is working for me. Let's start doing that. Now all his receivers are trying to spin out of tackles.
Speed option. And Denny decides to cut it inside and gets the first down out of it.
Well, a touchdown here puts them down 11, assuming if it's the fourth quarter, they'll go for 2, which is always kind of crazy the way these coaches' card works. But that will be interesting if they wind up getting a touchdown.
Roger Walker gets a carry there, and he'll pick up 9, second and a yard.
Well, the running game's working pretty well. Like I said, unfortunately, it's a little bit longer. I think they should have went to this a little bit earlier on in the game. But they are at least keeping USC off balance.
Walker outside to the right this time. He'll get 4. And Mike, this commitment to the running game this late, it seems to be working.
Well, it is. And the other thing that it could be doing is they notice that they don't have any shots deep, and they might be trying to create some.
Denny, wide receiver screen to the left side. There's Helix, but he is stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Well, that play can serve 2 functions. Either A, it can spread out the defense and create more room up the middle so you can run the ball, or B, it can bring the defense closer to the line of scrimmage if they're worrying about those things. So again, I think Texas is trying to set up some deep shots.
Denny dancing in the pocket, and then ultimately falls victim to the sack.
Well, USC's got even less on their defensive line than Texas does, as they have no star-level players, and honestly, that could play into both of these teams' inconsistency on defense. But that time the walk-on gets through good coverage downfield by SC and forces the long third down.
Just outside the 30 as we near the end of the third quarter in Texas. Looking to close the gap. They go halfback screen, and Peyton Miles puts the brakes on that one.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they were so conservative. They ran the ball a lot on that drive, and then on 3rd and long, they go for the halfback screen. They already missed 1 field goal. Kind of a confusing drive. Now they're going to have to try a 52-yard field goal from the right hash.
He missed one earlier from 48 yards out, and as you point out, this was not from the right hash earlier. This one is, and Gunnar Graham, he delivers.
Well, I had a feeling he might. He's not one that's likely to miss multiples, but we still have a game here.
USC up by 15 at the end of the third. You're watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports here on YouTube Live.
The Texas Longhorns is lined up for the kickoff.
Start of the fourth quarter, a quarter away from Mike us knowing who the 3 playoff teams are in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's big, and for most of this game, it looks like USC is the team that's really wanting to go to the playoffs. It's almost like Texas is like, well, I don't know if we're going to win our conference, so what's the point? But they need to kick it in the gear, or they're going to be sitting at home for the first time in a few seasons.
And here's Fox into the open field, down the right sideline, and finally pushed out of bounds inside the Texas 30. A 48-yard run.
That's just a microcosm of what's been happening to this Texas defense all night long. They're just not prepared to handle a rushing attack like this. They've got some good safeties in the backfield like White and Cavelli, but unfortunately Howard Cook's the only real threat they have up front. USC's doing a really good job of covering him up, and they're executing really well running the ball.
Receiver screen to the left side, and there's room for Mason Winters to get it down inside the 10.
Well, and not only does that help the defense get a little bit more concerned and have to bring them in and spread them out, but they got a block that took out 2 defenders. Like, that's how well things are being executed right now for USC.
And Texas finished the third quarter by closing in. They were close to being able to get into this, only down 15, and USC saying, no, that's too close for comfort.
Well, they need another turnover here.
Robinson gets a carry, and he'll get 3. And at this point, Mike, you're almost hoping that the Texas defense almost hoping that they could force a fumble.
Yeah, they're going to need to. They're going to need to get a turnover because even 3 points makes this really tough. But, I feel like this is either a touchdown or a turnover.
Fox going to take off and run, and down he goes for a loss of 3, 3rd and goal.
Well, as I say that, Jace Hawkins gets in there for a sack, and now it ups the odds of a potential field goal. It's an 18-point game, so it's still a 3-score game. I don't like those odds for Texas, but we saw it earlier a couple weeks ago, Miami doing it against Alabama.
Kingston Fox in the gun, 3rd and goal from inside the 10. Fox dancing, throwing right side, Marcus Seals, got 8, but no points.
Well, it was good coverage on the outside, a little bit of pressure coming and Fox leaves that one a little bit short. And so a great job by the Texas defense to get the stop. They couldn't force the turnover, but at least they held them to 3, and they give themselves a shot. Now what Texas needs is exactly what Miami did to Alabama. They got a couple of guys out there that are like Blaze Gunner. You've got Lord Helix and Ray Conley. Both of those guys can beat you deep. You're going to need to start throwing it. Maybe that drive that we saw before where they were so conservative is going to make USC think about it, bite up a little bit, and give Texas a shot over the top.
The touchback brings this one out to the 25, and Texas down 18, 6.5 minutes to play. Denny takes a shot to the left sideline, and Conley picks up 28.
I think that's about as much room as they can hope for. That's basically what they were hoping for, but the coverage here by USC, a lot better than what Alabama was able to provide. So I don't think you're going to get many one-play touchdowns if you're Texas, but if you can put a few of those together, you might have a chance.
One play is all it took for Texas to get across midfield down to the 47. Denny, 3-man rush, goes short this time for Conley. He'll get 2.
Well, you have to do it. You can't just line up and throw it 30 yards deep every play because then the defense is just going to sit on it. So you got to show them that you're willing to go underneath. So unfortunately, even though you're down 18, you have to make plays like that.
Denny taking a shot on the right side this time, and Lord Helix for 6.
Peyton Miles just came up short, tried to dive and take him down short, but Helix able to get in there for the touchdown, and Texas did exactly what they needed to on that drive.
Lord Helix gets the catch, and now Texas going for 2. Denny to throw. The middle of the field, and a great deflection by Marcellus Burning.
Yeah, big deflection. I don't really think that matters, honestly. Yes, you give them an opportunity to get a field goal, but I think that Texas is going to win this game. I don't think overtime is going to help them because they can't stop this running game. They're going to need just to pin their ears back, start trying to strip the ball. If they pass it, be as aggressive as possible. Hope you can get a turnover or 3 and out. Otherwise, this game's probably over.
Texas now down 12 with that score inside of 6 minutes to play. Fox here to throw with a blitz in his face. Goes short to the left side, and Stern pushed out of bounds at the 31. Got 7 yards.
Well, he had an opportunity for more because it was another one of these pick plays that they've been running. He had a blocker on the inside. The throw just wasn't perfect. Let him out of bounds. But I like these route concepts that USC is running, and they're executing them really well.
Vincent Fox, bubble screen right side. Here's Marcus Seals picking up the first down and more down to the 44-yard line.
Well, this is what you do when the other team's expecting you to run is you throw these little passes out into the flats, stretch out that defense, make them think about it so you can run it up the middle, although it doesn't look like Texas is biting on that.
Fox looking with time, but it closed quickly on him. The pass rush finally got off the edge to force the incompletion.
And the walk-on's able to get in there and hit him, then force the incompletion. But just think about how much more effective that defensive line could be with a few more star-level players on it.
Fox, draw play, Robinson to the right side, fighting to get across midfield, and he will. Got 8 yards to make this a very manageable 3rd and 2.
Robinson took Jace Hawkins for a little bit of a ride, and he gets bailed out as they stop him 2 yards short. Really critical possession here for the Texas defense.
And off Robinson up the middle. He's got the first down to about the 41-yard line. And Mike, is the fat lady singing, or is she still just warming up?
Well, not quite, but that final nail is starting to get driven into the coffin.
Fox here to throw, 3-man rush. Dancing to his right, goes short. There's Stern, and he'll get down to the Texas 33.
And the reason why I say it's not over yet, they could still get a pick 6 and to make it a 5-point game. So, I mean, anything's possible, but Texas just not doing a really good job of forcing stops.
Blitz coming here. Fox goes short. Winters got left all alone. And the yards after the catch there help him get 14 and inside the 20.
Yeah, that time, I don't know what kind of, it looked like they were in a prevent defense. I don't know what they were doing there.
Empty backfield here. Trips bomb the screen. Fox, 3-man rush. Going to the left side and short. There's Seals. Gets him down inside the 15. A big hit dished out, though.
Yeah, Texas was playing it way too soft underneath. They're almost allowing them to throw it underneath and letting them are trying to prevent them from taking shots over the top, let them take shots over the top. They're lower percentage. You got a chance of picking one off. You also got a chance of it being incomplete. They're not going to get off the field if you're just giving them 10-yard dump-offs every time.
Down to the 12 in Texas territory and inside the midway point of this fourth quarter. That pass, Mill, touchdown USC.
Well, unless they get a kick return for a touchdown and then a turnover really quick, that might be the end. It's still not the end because they're within 21, so they're within 3 touchdowns, and we saw it with Miami. I keep saying it. There's receivers on this team comparable to Blaze Gunner that could beat him over the top, but unfortunately they already got it once with Helix. I don't think they can still do it 3 more times. So the fat lady hasn't finished singing because there's still an opportunity, but man, things are not looking good for Texas.
I want to remind everybody that's only the first part of our doubleheader that kicks off Week 8 in the last week of the regular season. Coming up next, after about 30 minutes at the conclusion of this one, Miami and Florida, and that is a rivalry game that's been in the making over the last couple seasons and always very close.
Well, the 3rd time, and it's always provided some fireworks. Florida kept Miami out of the playoffs, I think, 2 seasons ago.
Yes.
Miami returned the favor and won last season. So it's always pivotal, not as much riding on this one, but except that Natty Light Championship belt that they want to wear around either Mississippi or Oklahoma where their ADs reside.
That is still in play, Mike. I mean, that's a lot to play for.
Oh, of course. I mean, and just think of the talk of the town you are wearing that thing around.
Exactly. Not only that, but that can help you get going into recruiting. Hey, we beat our rivals.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that could help you get some girls.
I don't think that's true at all.
Well, maybe in those 2 states it does.
It could be. That's very true. Handoff here for Taraj Walker following the incomplete pass. He gets 6 yards.
Hey, when you're down by 19 and you only got less than 4 minutes to go, why not you start by handing off the ball?
So the way this is going, and obviously we don't want to say that Texas ruled out, but assuming things stay the same, USC is automatically the 3 seed in the playoffs. They don't really have a chance to get any higher.
No, they don't. Oregon's out of it, so it's really Notre Dame and Nebraska who both have the tiebreaker over it.
The toss to the outside, Taraj Walker to keep the drive alive, and he'll get it. And Texas able to convert on 4th down and stay alive.
Well, it's a really risky play. A higher percentage of that getting blown up, but then it's going to take quite a bit of time off the clock for what you got out of it.
We're going to go short here on 1st down, and the walk-on Terry Johnson gets 9 yards.
Well, I like throwing to the sideline, but you got to tell your walk-on to get out of bounds. He didn't. He got stopped inbounds.
The gun, draw play, and backwards goes Taraj Walker, courtesy of the K9 on the USC defense.
Yeah, I'm not at all understanding what's going on. You run an air raid offense, and you're just running draws over and over again. It really doesn't look like Texas is seriously interested in winning this game.
For the very first time for Texas since we went to the playoff system, it looks to me that they will miss the playoffs as Taraj Walker gets the 1st down.
Yeah, some kind of miracle is going to have to happen here, and the way they're playing on offense, I don't see it happening.
Out of time for them as we near the 2-minute mark, and that pass over the middle. A 1st down being fought for and earned by Carson Meeks.
Yeah, at this point, it almost looks like a let's pad the stats for Clayton Denny in freshman of the year mode here.
Well, if they're doing that, then they need to get Ray Conley another touchdown. That pass caught on the right side for Meeks out of bounds at the 20.
For those of you that missed it, Ray Conley, 2 touchdowns in this game, has tied Jared Tatonis for the all-time lead in receiving touchdowns.
And he is a senior, so if he doesn't get it, that's how it'll stay, tied with Tatonis as that pass incomplete.
Good point. I didn't think about that. I keep thinking that Texas is going to be in the playoffs somehow, but yeah, if he doesn't get a touchdown on this drive, he will remain tied with Tatonis, and because Tatonis got it first, at least the way the record book works now, Tatonis' name will be the only one up there.
Pass floated out of bounds, incomplete, 3rd and 10 inside 2 minutes of play.
You got 2 more shots at it. I mean, you don't need the touchdown, but good Lord, you want to get one sooner rather than later.
Well, at this point, I'm rooting for Conley to break the record. Walker, halfback screen. Doesn't get much, only 2 yards.
I'm torn. Jared Tunis was such an excellent receiver, and obviously he's got kick return and receiving yard records that are probably never going to get broken, but, I mean, it would be excellent for Conley and the Texas program if he were able to get one more.
Denny to throw, 4th and 8, has time, dance in the pocket, back in the end zone, all alone with Scooby Lewis.
Well, Clayton Denny wanted to tease us, as he has been all night, and he finds the wrong receiver, at least for those of you cheering for Conley to have the record all by himself. Now it comes down to an onside kick or a quick 3 and out and 3 timeouts, but Texas hasn't proven all night they could get a 3 and out.
Minute and a half to play, and you're down 12, so here's the onside kick. And USC will not recover. It will actually go out of bounds. And that's not going to help.
No, it's going to be given to him at the 40. So, yeah, you got to give yourself a chance, but they didn't there. So they'll get the ball at the 40. Well, they call it the 41. Odd. But, yeah, I mean, Texas, they're going to have to come up with something big quick.
And off, Robinson breaks the tackle. Fighting, and he'll get 2 yards. Texas burns the timeout.
Well, the walk-on Zachary Anderson got through there. I thought it was Howard Cook at first. They really need him to come up and make something happen.
Quiet for most of the season and tonight is Robinson the carry. Ball is
there
free,
it was.
but USC recovers.
There it was. They popped it loose. I think it was Terrence Topp that knocked it loose, but unfortunately they recover it for a first down.
And the handoff here for Robinson just to continue to chew up clock. But, Mike, that should do it, right?
I would think so. I mean, technically it doesn't end it, but, you know, it's just kind of been the way it's been for Texas all season. Just a day late and $1 short.
Well, if that didn't end it, this will. Robinson from 26 yards out, and he'll run it in for 6.
Well, USC's got to feel good putting up 50 on Texas the week before the playoffs start and coming off of that brutal loss to Notre Dame last week. So USC officially going to get the win now. I don't see any way Texas comes back now. USC will take that 3 seed. So now Nebraska is guaranteed no worse than the number 2 seed pending the outcome of their game with Oregon on Friday night.
And Notre Dame fans going to be rooting hard just so that they can get that 1 seed in that first round bye. But as you mentioned, Mike, we now know the playoff teams for the Big Ten. USC with their win here, the 3 seed. And then obviously Notre Dame and Nebraska yet to figure out their seeding.
Yeah, if Nebraska wins, they win the Big Ten and they have the number 1 seed in the first round bye. If they lose, Notre Dame wins the Big Ten for the first time in their history. And they will get the first round bye. So a big game coming out for both conferences on Friday night. Obviously, we also have the Iron Bowl on Friday night as well, which will decide the SEC champion.
Alabama and Auburn going to be looking to try to earn for both of them their very first SEC title. And yet to come, we're not done. Miami and Florida, always a great and exciting rivalry here in the SEC.
Well, this one's not over. This one's not over. For those of you who are cheering for Ray Conley, he's still got a chance at the record here.
He does. They went quick to Scooby Lewis. He got the first down, just over a minute to play here. And Clayton Denny to throw. Goes short, left side. That pass caught for a yard, and Texas has no means to stop the clock.
No, I mean, at this time, you're down 19. Everything should be 4 verts and just throw it up and hope you either get a touchdown or they pick it off. But, I mean, throwing it less than 20, 30 yards downfield does you no good at this point.
Well, and they clock it there on 2nd down, so it's 3rd and 9.
I mean, you got to clock it there because the clock's still running, but.
Right. Pistol set. Denny looking, steps up, takes a shot, left side, that pass caught, and Helix steps out of bounds at the 11.
Well, it was 4 verts, that's what they needed to do, and they found Helix, they underthrew it, and it was over-pursued by Green. I don't think he thought it was going to be underthrown. Great job to react by Helix, who's having another phenomenal game here for Texas, and now 11 yards away. Everybody look for number 81 lined up at the top of your screen.
Lagon trips bottom of your screen. Denny to throw. With time, goes short. There's Walker down to the 5.
Well, at this point, it looks like they're just trying to get Denny over $4.99 to win the sportsbook.
And he is over $5.02.
Well, there you go. So anybody that took the long odds on the 499.5, congrats, you won a long shot.
Ray Conley now at the bottom of the trip set, bottom of the screen. Denny to throw. Looking, goes to that side and incomplete.
Well, he's going for a meet, so that wouldn't have helped anybody that's cheering for Conley out. We actually probably should have had a long shot odd on Conley getting 3 touchdowns, because that would have added even more excitement. He's at the bottom of the screen again.
Trips that side. Denny looking, goes short over the middle, and Walker gets the first down.
So they still got another shot at it. Well, they're not going to win, but they're sure teasing us.
And then they're going to come out and clock it. Because why not?
Oh, another shot for Conley. You got to line him up on the top, get him one-on-one, and run a slant to him. There he is.
4 receivers of that
quads,
same
though. It's
side.
not, yeah, they're not going to do it.
Denny to throw, looking, dancing right.
Perfect.
Gets a pass out of his hands, so he gets hit. Another chance.
That's what you want right there. You want an incompletion, and you want Conley. Now he looks like he's going to go bottom of the screen. Whoa, what are they doing? They're going pistol. Conley, bottom of the screen, still one-on-one, though.
That's a full house.
Oh.
The handoff for Taraj Rucker, and he doesn't get it.
Well, now they're going to have to hurry. Conley, bottom of the screen now. Last play.
Denny, the throw, goes middle for Taraj Walker, and he loses it anyway, and that is how this one ends.
Well, much like Texas, to end their season, going for more hardware.
So USC has clinched a playoff berth for the Big Ten, and Texas, for the first time since we went back to the playoffs, will miss the playoffs. We're not done, though. Here in about 30 minutes, we'll have Miami taking on Florida, fighting for that Natty Light Championship belt. Mike, your final thoughts?
Well, Texas is an interesting spot. Not only do they miss the playoffs, they're going to lose a bunch of seniors next season. Not a spot you want to go into maybe your most important recruiting season since season 4, coming off missing the playoffs. We'll see how it affects them.
So for Mike, I'm David. We'll be back here in about 30 minutes right here on YouTube Live for Miami and Florida with the Natty Light Championship belt on the line. We'll see you then.